Ships of
Or the latest Indiana Jones, I think. What was it? The one that was on this wall.
How was that?
It was on Zoom, which was like less. Sometimes I get like, because I've interviewed a lot of people. I've interviewed like Jamie Lee Curtis multiple times. I've interviewed like Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler. But like, I still got really nervous because like my mom like showed me those movies when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, he's like old school.
So I was just like, I've got 5 minutes. What do I say? But it ended up being a really cool interview, and he was really nice. And I saw him at the premiere, and I was like, hey.
Oh, he was cool. Oh,
yeah.
good.
And I saw him get a Captain America, so that was my friend gave him like a Captain America pin. So it was pretty cool. So he's really nice. But yeah, it was definitely. I think it's easier on Zoom because you're not as.
Oh yeah, you're not.
When I do it in person,
yeah, he's pretty legendary. But he wasn't grumpy though, huh?
No, he's never been grumpy in my experience.
Okay.
I feel like even the times he is, he's probably just doing it for like laughs, you know.
Yeah.
But, okay, we ready?
Ready.
So I need to hold it up like this?
Oh yeah, whatever.
All right.
We were gonna get some stands, but then I was like, it might make the shot look weird.
Yeah, I apologize again for being late.
No, you're fine. I was like, maybe you got lost in the hills somewhere, and I was like, freaking out.
No, I came right to it. It was like a beautiful area, by the way. I don't know this area that well, but it's great.
And it's a little runoff.
Yeah.
It just takes forever to get to Hollywood.
Okay.
Ready?
Alright, we're rolling.
Hey, this is Alyssa with Who Let Us Out, and I'm here with my favorite rookie character, Brent Puff, aka Smitty.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you so much for coming. You know, I feel like your character is one of the most important in the show because it's the comedic relief in between everything that we're dealing with, which can sometimes be serious, but it's also the character that we like know is there and that we want to see come back again and again. But before I even get into that, I would love to know like where you started with acting, because when I was, I had to do my little Google in here and there. I learned that you actually did some modeling first, but your heart was always in acting. And did you also go to high school with Brad Pitt, or the same high school as Brad Pitt?
Same high school with Brad Pitt. He's a lot older than I am, but oh wait, no, it's the other way around. I messed that up. So, yeah, we're both from Springfield, Missouri. Went to Kickapoo High School, and I was studied theater there. I'm sure he did too. Then we both went to the University of Missouri, and I was a theater major there. And so that I also played sports. And I'm basketball and track at Mizzou, which is weird for a guy to be in the sports and theaters as well. So as soon as I left Mizzou, I came out to LA and then to New York to be an actor. And so how the modeling thing happened is I was working out here in Santa Monica. I was the night auditor of this place called the Huntley House Hotel. And so I was making like nothing. But I was at night, so I could do the acting stuff during the day, the auditions. And Eileen Ford and Nina Blanchard, who were big model agents, they stopped me at the 3rd Street Promenade, which doesn't look like it does now, and asked me if I was a model. And I go, no. Do you want to be a model? I said, I don't know about that. And so they go, come to this audition. So I went to this audition, and they said, bring a swimsuit. So I'm in a swimsuit with all these beautiful girls, and they go, and I got the job and paid me $250 for the day, and I'm like, I'm a model now. So it was more than I was making in a week at the hotel, so I go, oh, I guess I'm modeling. So anyway, with that, then I went to New York and signed with Ford's there, and then went to Milan and Paris and did the whole European thing.
What made you, obviously like you were getting more money at the time as a model, what made you be like, okay, I don't want to be a model and my true passion is acting? Because I know especially in this industry, it is hard to follow your dream and your heart when there are bills to be paid.
Yeah, well what happened is like, I was working a lot, like mostly in Milan, and then they had this French movie that they were casting. So my agent calls me up and says, and then I came back to LA, she called me up and said, there's a French director in town, and he's directing this big French film that's sort of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where your character will be captured in a city of women, and it's going to shoot in Paris, the south of France, Morocco, and the Philippines. Would that be something you're interested in? I go, did you just ask me that? Yes, I'm interested. I'm there if they want me. So I ended up getting the job. So when that took off, then my modeling career, I went straight to all acting and modeling.
So I was kind of reading up. I saw that you did quite a few films abroad. What is the difference of like working on film and TV like out of the country versus the US?
Well, back in the 80s, they were doing a lot of like low budget B action movies. And so I went to the Philippines like 7 times to do films, and I was always playing the same kind of character where I'm a former soldier that was MIA or whatever at the Vietnam War. And so we'd be at their hotel in Manila, and I'd see these other actors that I knew from LA. We're all playing, like Michael Dudikoff's a friend of mine. There's a bunch of us. We did see each other, and we were all doing these action movies, and they weren't very good, but they were fun to do. But at the time, you could go to Blockbuster, and when your movie came out, I would go to a Blockbuster with my wife, and we would put my VHS or DVDs right next to the big Blockbuster movies. So if they're seeing like Titanic, oh, Brent Huston, Dead Commandos, stuff like that. It was like, I miss the Blockbuster days.
No, I miss it too.
I know.
So I have memories in England. The Blockbuster was near a grocery store by my house called Sainsbury's. So every Friday I would like beg my mom, like, please can we go? And I would get like the Halloween movies, and she's like Persian, so she would be like, no, you shouldn't watch this. I'm like, no, you don't watch it. So I remember getting that and then going home and having the popcorn and watching it and then being terrified of not being able to sleep by myself. But like I used to get like panics over the return time, but I love going in there and like the smell of the popcorn and the smell of the plastic cover on the Blockbuster movies and then the video games. Man, I miss that.
And then I always got charged for late fees.
Yeah.
So I'd never get them back in time. So oh man, I got another late fee.
But it was like the experience of it all. I feel like I'm glad. I feel like it was my generation maybe had like the last of it.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't even know when. I feel like it's weird when I think about like it fizzling out, but I don't even know like when it just.
Yeah, the movies now, the low budget films, unless you like hit like on the film festival circuit, like a Sundance or Tribeca or Toronto, it's hard to get any action in these lower budget films, unfortunately.
That sucks. And then normal films are coming to streaming within like
2 minutes.
2 weeks. I'm like, huh?
So they're trying to change it. I know, like the theaters are trying to get it where there's like at least a 45-day,
Yeah, because it takes away the magic, and I think, was it Paramount Pictures who spoke about it at CinemaCon about trying to change that? Because I know with Mickey 17, it was literally in theaters like 2 weeks later, and I was like, out of theaters. We were watching it. I didn't get to do any press for that one, but I did get a little alien thing somewhere. They sent me
nice.
it was right there.
So you went there.
So I didn't see that movie, but they mailed me a really cool alien, but I didn't get to see it because they didn't have any LA things, and I was like, I'll travel, but I think.
Oh wow.
But we did see it on streaming. We were starting it last night on streaming, and then I got sleepy and fell asleep.
Did you watch the finale of The White Lotus last night?
No, but I did see a lot of posts online. They're having a White Lotus, I guess, hotel experience somewhere. A few of my friends went to it, and I was like...
Well, let me tell you how it ends. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
What did I watch last night? Last night was Sunday, so on Sundays I usually, I'm not gonna lie, I was editing YouTube videos and interviews. I just had this Charles Manson documentary in the background.
A Manson doc? Oh, okay.
I'm really intrigued in true crime and all of these cases and stuff like that. So when I'm like working, I'll have it on in the background. A little bit weird, but I don't know. Because it's like if I have like my favorite TV show or movie that I need to pay attention to, I can't really do the same thing. So.
Well, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
my favorite movie.
Man, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then Mikey, who just won the Academy Award, she was the one with the flamethrower in the end. I go, yeah. I could watch that movie like.
No, I remember that was the first and only, because on Prime you can like buy the movie and not just rent it. That was the first and only movie I ever actually bought onto a streaming platform that I actually bought on the streaming platform.
It was so good, and it's like some of those scenes. It's like when Leonardo DiCaprio was in the room and he messed up a line on the set. He's like, I know this guy. That's happened to me, so it's like, oh
it's relatable.
Man, it's relatable, yeah.
And I think for me also, the movie. The case is really sad and devastating, and I think in my eyes, I was like, I always wanted like a different outcome, and it's like that. Okay,
yeah.
So I was like, oh, like I wish. But
yeah, that was just.
I actually went to Quentin's. He had a podcast taping. Was it last Tuesday for the Video Archives podcast? So I watched that. I'm not allowed to talk about it until they drop that episode, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He dropped my mic, which was funny.
Literally dropped the mic. Okay. I won't do that here. I have to pay for the mic.
I don't think it'll make that big of a sound either.
But you remember when Brad Pitt, he lived next to the drive-in theater? That was actually out here in Van Nuys when I first moved to California.
Wow.
So you could go watch like 2 first-run movies, and Get chicken for El Pollo from El Pollo or whatever. And
it was a better time. When I saw the scenes of them like driving through the valley, I was like, oh my god, we lived there. Because Spawn Ranch is like right up in Chatsworth over there.
Speaking of Spawn Ranch, then the guy that played Tex Watson, you know who that is?
Mm-hmm. Wait, remind me of his name though.
It's the guy who played Elvis.
What's
his name? It's so good in Elvis.
Is it? No, it's not Austin Butler. Is it Austin?
It is
Austin Butler.
yeah.
Oh, Austin Butler.
So he's
in the bike. He's in the Bike Riders too. Yes.
Oh yeah. So he was on horseback. Remember with Brad and all that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what's weird? I didn't know like that was him until like watching all the other films after,
Right.
and then I went back and I was like, wait, that was him.
Yeah, yeah. So.
Because I was used to seeing him as all those other characters, and then wasn't he in Dune too? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. It's interesting. Even with, is it Mikey or Mickey? Is it Mikey?
I don't know.
I think it's Mikey.
Yeah.
But even with her, when I saw her win the Oscar, I was like, because she's also in Scream, the newer Scream.
Oh yeah.
And she also plays like a crazy like character in that.
Yeah.
So then like seeing her in this role, I was like, such a difference, but still amazing work.
The director, he said that's where he saw her. He goes, girl that's willing to do that, that's who I want in this film.
Wow.
And it's, I'd have to see it again. I haven't seen it since she won the Academy Award. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I want to see that scene again because that's where the director saw it and goes, I credit Quentin Tarantino for turning me on to her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to get into The Rookie because it's kind of crazy how this became my favorite show. I watch a lot of like obviously true crime and Law and Order, CSI, Criminal Minds. I've loved Criminal Minds since it like first came out, and then they changed it. And CSI, I would tune in every Thursday in England and watch it. I was like 10.
The Rookie's your favorite show?
Right now, yeah. So,
yeah, come on, man.
Because so I had like I did a lot of stuff to watch, and I had not watched it before. And then I was like, okay, I need to binge something. I'm telling you, I binged all 6 seasons within 10 days. And I felt like I knew all of you like you were my best friend.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what was going on? Like, why did it take me so long to like click play? Because I get lost in like the world of like writing reviews and screeners and what's thrown at me. And I was like, okay, I'm obsessed. But I think watching it back to back like that, you see the series of events happen so quickly, and you become like attached to people even more in a way. But I also didn't have to wait to see the next episode until season 7. So it's kind of seeing your character in the beginning, and then how he like came even more into the show and like more of his personality, but also knowing him from the scenes that he's not into. That leads me to ask, like, how did your role on The Rookie come about?
It was interesting. So in season 1, I'm just in one episode in season 1. I just had a regular audition to play this seasoned cop, which is code for the old cop, So I assumed that I'm going to be the grumpy, seasoned guy who hates rookies. And so that's how I played the first episode. I had no idea it would turn into a comedic role. So the first time I was like, oh, I got to do this with this rookie, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I would get script that kept having me come back, and the scripts kept getting funnier and funnier. Like, I'm into goat yoga, I've got a back tattoo, I've been married 3 times in the last 10 years, It's like, so even the episodes that I'm not in, I got to really watch them because sometimes I'll bring up some knucklehead thing that Smitty did. I go, oh, I better know that. So.
It's funny because I was actually on Reddit the other day, and they were talking about the married 3 times thing, and they said, well, was it married 3 times to the same woman or 3 different women? And it's so funny, like all these theories come up. So I really do love that they like bring these things about your character in, and even when you're not in the episode, it's still there.
Yeah, it's like, because I would say, was I married? Who was I married to? Do I have any kids? What kind of car would Smitty drive? I think of all this stuff. My wife and I go, that car, he would drive like a Toyota MR2 he put on his own spoiler, like one of those cars where it's just so janky.
And then he lives in the
trailer.
That is.
Hashtag van life.
Hashtag van life. That was, so I have to ask, like, preparing for this role, did you like do any of that? Did they have you stay in a trailer or anything?
No, it's like funny. It's like when I drive into the set, like we shoot a lot of stuff at either Paramount or downtown at Center Studios. So when I'm driving to the set, as soon as I get up and start, I kind of go into Smitty mode, where it's like I'm kind of a little goofy. We can all be that way. Yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah. So it's kind of a fun, character to do.
I was on Reddit once again because Reddit is like I know there's like Twitter and Instagram, but Reddit is really the fan place
Yeah.
for like every show and movie, and it has its own like community. And they said that every job has a Smitty.
I've got cops stop me all the time and say there's a Smitty at our station. And every week they all have a Smitty. You know, it's just like he does everything not to work. He works hard at not working.
But I think like when you get to know the character more later on, you know that like he's actually a really good cop. And he's probably done what he needed to do, and he's kind of just like, I don't really want to leave, and I don't want to do too much, but if you need me, I'm gonna be there. And I think that's what because we've seen like when they need him, he is there.
I have people DM me like with what they think my backstory is. Like I was a really good cop at one point, but then there was one got so specific that there was a robbery in Beverly Hills years ago at an upscale jewelry store, and there's a hostage situation. Van Cleef and Arpels. It's a real story. It really happened, and a hostage ended up getting shot. And he said Smitty was on that case, and he said we should do this, and then they didn't listen to Smitty, and Smitty lost his desire to be a cop, and kind of thing. I go, I didn't go that far.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but hey, but they come up with these theories,
And sometimes I'm thinking like, hey, let the writers know, because there's so many, even with like Patrick's character Seth, before I interviewed him, I went online and they were just coming up with like, oh, he's working with that. What was the serial killer lady's name? The redhead?
Yeah.
He's working with her, he's part of, and I was like, oh my God, like this is wild. Like I know I'm a nerd and I'd be like putting things together in my mind, but these are like, these could be a whole separate show themselves.
He's like evil. This guy, you better watch him. So he goes, he's just playing a part.
Yeah, he's not really him. When I met him, I was like, oh my God.
I had somebody reach out to me. They go, I used to be a fan until you said you started QAnon. And so, and now I can't. I'm like, that's not really me.
I'm not actually.
Yeah. It's funny, they get so into it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And even me, when I kind of like, I think it was with Bailey, and because Bailey's actually married in real life to the crazy ex in the show.
Right, yeah, the guy that, yeah.
And obviously Jenna, like I grew up watching Step Up, so I know her from that, and I'm like, wait, she's married to the crazy and the rookie, and then I was like, oh, but wait a minute, this is not real life.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, yeah.
So it's pretty funny. So I do have to ask, would you say you possess any of Smitty's characters yourself, and do you bring any of yourself into the character?
There's probably a lot that I, unfortunately, my wife, just this morning, she goes, that's such a Smitty. Well,
yeah.
So I thought I was supposed to be here at 12 noon, but I guess I was supposed to be here at 11. So I'm actually got here early, so I parked out there, and he or she called, asked if, I said, can I come early? She goes, well, you're supposed to be here like 20 minutes ago. I go, oh, so that was a Smitty thing to do. But I do, every time my wife goes, that's so Smitty. It's like, so I do that kind of. The big difference is I'm not lazy at all. I'm a workaholic. I mean, I work really hard. You have to in this business because it's so tough. You got to, not just, but I've always been a very hard worker, which is not Smitty. So that part's completely made up. Everything else is probably pretty close.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what if you got lost in the hills? Because I've like driven and sometimes you lose service. Then I was freaking out. I was like, wait, what am I tripping? What if I said 11 p.m.? So like nobody's figured it to be at 11 p.m.
Well, that would be so Smitty to do, so yeah.
So it's definitely Smitty. No, this is funny. So I have pet ducks and a wiener dog, and the episode where Smitty goes up against a raccoon, do you think he would stand a chance against a raccoon, a duck, a squirrel? And which one do you think he could actually win against?
Well, have you seen those raccoons in person?
I saw it, okay, so a couple weeks ago, 2 raccoons, my ducks actually scared them off. Big, but looking really goofy looking. We're just running, they were huge.
They're huge, but they got these little hands, and they're little creepy. Yeah, you're into horror movies, right? They got the little creepy horror hands. So they're a little scary. I could probably take a squirrel, and I put it out on social media. I could probably take that raccoon 2 out of 3, maybe.
Depends on the raccoon.
Depend on the raccoon.
On the type of raccoon.
Yeah, there's actually 3 of them. So they had 3,
Wait, so they had real raccoons on set?
Real raccoons.
It wasn't CGI?
It wasn't CGI. There was 3 of them. So they go, don't pet them. Yeah, so raccoons had their stunt raccoons.
Oh my God, stunt raccoons? I mean, I know they have like animals for film and TV.
But did you notice that I gave that one 2 black eyes?
I was like, wait, another
Wait,
baby raccoon.
my daughter's gonna go, Dad, you didn't do a dad joke.
These
did
are the
you?" I
dad
go,
jokes.
Yeah, I did one.
I was like, these are dad jokes.
Dad
There's
stuff.
actually a podcast where they only do dad jokes the entire interview.
I love dad jokes.
And I think I did the Daredevil Born Again interviews, and they just had Charlie Cox and Vincent read out dad jokes the entire 10 minutes. It was hilarious because they're not funny, but then it's funny.
I had somebody on the rookie. I did one of those dad jokes, and they go, "Thanks, Brett. Thanks for the grandpa jokes." I go, "How did I go from dad to grandpa?"
How could you?
That's just rude.
That is so rude. Well, you don't look a day over 30.
Oh, thank you.
So I did. So I'm gonna show you some screenshots later, but you know, Smitty does try and go viral. And is there a particular TikTok trend you have tried in real life?
Yes. Well, Derek, wanted me to do a dance. So, okay, there was this.
I have the picture.
Oh, do you? So there was a scene where we have a bunch of prisoners, and I see one guy, one of the extras, that's a really good dancer. I mean, really good. And I'm like, dude, you're amazing. And I'm a professional dancer, this, that, and the other. And then Derek goes, let's do a dance video where we break it down. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so we break it out. So he tells us what to do. So Derek is behind me. He's just being cool, Derek, but I'm actually trying to copy this guy. Now, I blew up my knee playing basketball a while back. So I was doing this thing, and then I make one move, and my knee actually buckles. So they go, online people go, oh, poor Smitty, he's trying so hard, but he just couldn't quite make it. Yeah, so that was a fail.
But in real life, that scene probably would have gone viral on TikTok because it's always the.
Yeah, it's one, maybe it was that one. That one got like, I think 2 million views, something like that. It's crazy.
So do you actively post on TikTok? Because I saw you had a TikTok.
I posted on TikTok yesterday, and
You posted more than me.
yeah. Oh my God, it's like, Dad, you do on TikTok? I go, yeah.
That's so funny.
So I was driving by to see one of these sign spinners, and this guy was amazing. He's doing this thing on his head, he's on his feet. I mean, look like a Cirque du Soleil sign spinner. So I go, okay, I'm gonna go to him. I go, dude, do you mind if I stand in front of you? And so we're on the street, so I'm gonna look like people are really staring at me, like honking. So I'm just waiting, like, hey, look at all the attention I'm getting. Meanwhile, this guy's doing his amazing tricks behind me. I just posted that yesterday.
I saw that.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my
So you're actively out in the streets making TikToks. That's
I'm making
fun to
TikToks,
know.
yeah.
They better see
And
the
my
picture.
wife, she goes, don't make me do that. Don't make me do that. I had her one time dressed in a bunny outfit on Hollywood Boulevard, and she goes, I'm so embarrassed by this. She goes, quit, just stop.
Aw, well, I would love to meet her one day.
Oh, yeah, she's
Seems
hilarious,
like you guys have some memories and some fun,
yeah.
some TikToks. I do want to ask, recently we found out that we're getting another season, which I'm super excited about because I
Yes.
was literally there, like my heart was like pounding. Like,
Yeah.
please, you cannot. Like, I feel like it was like, I didn't feel like it should have been questioned that there needs to be another season. Like,
Yeah.
why were we even waiting? But is there anything you can tease about that? Have they said anything? Like, is there anything you're allowed to say? I mean, I know ABC and Hulu are not like Marvel, but with Marvel, nobody can say anything because they'll be at your door.
I can't say anything because I don't know anything. They never tell me, like, when I get a script each week, I don't know from week to week what I'm doing. So I know nothing. But I'm so glad it's coming back from season 8. Nathan, everybody loves Nathan, and he's like magic. He did Castle for 8 years, and he's just one after another. But everybody on the set, Patrick probably told you this too. They're all just the nicest.
Yeah.
There's no attitudes. It's a great show to work on.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
to know that
everybody is great.
I think it's really refreshing to know that because I know like there's some shows that I used to watch as a kid growing up that I was like obsessed with. And growing up, like as an adult now, you learn that the set life wasn't as great as it was coming on the show. So it's really refreshing to know that it's just as fun on set and everybody's like family.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So I do want to touch on Nathan. I spoke to Patrick about this. He's gonna be in Superman and he's gonna be in Lanterns. And what was your reaction when you saw him with that bob?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, he's a working guy. You would never know. I don't know how he has the same amount of hours in a day that I do because he's doing so much. But yeah,
To me, I was just like, John Nolan is in
John
Superman?
Nolan. I've never seen him before.
Because when you're so attached to like a character, like with Smitty too, when you then see them in something else, you're like, what are they doing
Wait a
there?
minute. Yeah. So it's like, wait, he used to play serious roles. Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of different. You have to detach yourself a little bit. Who is your like not as like a cast member, but who's your favorite character on the show, and which character annoys you the most? This has nothing to do with the person, but like say if you were like watching it.
I was watching it. I don't get my. God, there's so many good. I tell you what, Makia had an unbelievable season. Yeah, she's a great actress, and she just had a really breakout season. And Elizabeth is great. Yeah, they all are. Yeah, all of them did in just different ways. It's like Eric is always like putting Smitty down, this, that, and the other. And it's like he's always pushed me. I had a scene the other day with the raccoon where I'm coming in. I'm like, this, like, come on. And then he pushes me in. And then at the end, when I get beat up, and he comes and I've got tears in my eyes because I'm afraid somebody's going to take my gun and shoot somebody. And he's like, are you okay? And he was like, I know, why I'm so rude to Smitty. I feel like
I know that moment was like, oh, finally, like, I was like, oh, all of us were kind of like, oh,
Smitty gets beat up. Yeah, so.
And then other people were like, who gave Smitty a gun?
Yeah.
That was messed up. But we'll read those tweets in a minute.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, if you could step into any other TV show, what would it be and why?
TV show. Well, I love Succession, when that's no longer on, but I love that. I for some reason, I'm drawn to these shows where it's rich people behaving poorly, and then they get theirs at the end. I always kind of like that, So that was good. I just watched White Lotus. I like that. There's a lot, mostly streaming stuff. So many good shows. But Billions, when that was out too.
Billions was so good. I always want to see like a crossover of like the Law and Orders and the Criminal Minds with like a funny show like The Rookie. I was like,
oh yeah.
How would that look? Because the other two are like pretty serious, and then you got The Rookie which has serious stuff, and then it has like the comedic relief as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be so fun.
I think the crossover would be White Lotus and The Rookie, where Smitty goes to Thailand and screws something.
Could you imagine? Hopefully HBO Max is listening.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
So we kind of touched on this a little bit, but fans say that like episode 10 is the turning point for Smitty, and we might see him, do more action, see him in even more episodes, and maybe take the job even more seriously. What is your response to that?
That I can't say because I'm shot.
Yeah.
So I can't say on that one.
Now, does anyone on set have Daddy Cop as a ringtone? No,
Not that I know of.
You don't have it, right?
I don't have it.
It's a really catchy song.
I know, yeah, it's like,
I feel like somebody has it and they're just hiding
yeah,
it.
they could, probably.
Now, I don't know if you can talk about this, but do you think we'll get a Smitty POV episode one day where we see like the day in the life of Smitty, his backstory, and just like him, his day to day, like what he's doing like behind the scenes, like what he's doing while everybody's out on the field?
Well, on the Rookie Feds, I don't know if you ever watched the Rookie Feds, so I did a thing where it was like, I'm doing my own reality show, where I'm starring in it, I'm directing it, I'm writing it, I'm doing all that kind of stuff, and that was like, one episode. So then we had the hiatus and, COVID and all that, and so I went out and made 5 episodes called Smitty Streets. That's what they called it in Rookie Feds, Smitty Streets. And so it was like, and I did it just for fun. I got a lot of the actors, not from the Rookie, but other actors I know that do, stuff. And that's where I got my wife to play the bunny rabbit on Hollywood Boulevard, because I arrested her when she was a furry. So it's like, and then I had one where Smitty tries to be an actor, so he goes on stage and has an acting audition. He's terrible. And then I had one where I have a date. On social media, I got a date, and then I sent her a photo that's 40 years old, one of my modeling photos, and then I show up, she goes, "You're Smitty?" It's like...
Should have sent her a TikTok.
Yeah, kind of thing. So there is that. I wish they would do it. Somebody wrote a spec script that they sent to me where it was a Smitty heavy, where I actually get to be a DJ, but I'm a DJ at a bowling alley.
What?
Yeah.
So many storylines. Maybe we could actually get that as a standalone spin-off series. I would watch it. I feel like a lot of Rookie fans would too. Has there been a most memorable episode and moment for you as Smitty?
As Smitty, the most... I think the first time when they go to Shangri-La West, where I have my trailer, and I go onto this, walk me to the set, and it's I got all these trailers around, and all these cops in like, their shorts and drinking beer. I go, they made this set just for Smitty. I thought that was pretty cool, and so that was fun. Had another scene where a guy gets shot in front of Nathan and I, and they had these what they call squibs, where its blood comes out, and then they boom, and so Nathan doesn't have any blood on him, and I'm just covered with blood on my face.
They would do it to Smitty.
And then they said one time, because I was the union rep, and then John Noah was running against me, Nathan Fillion's running against me, and they go, in this episode, you and Nathan are running against each other, who's going to be union rep? I go, you mean the star of the show and I are running for union? I think I know who's going to win that one, if I had to guess.
You never know.
You never know, but
You
yeah,
never
I
know.
do. But
So is there a favorite episode aside, it doesn't have to be like one that Smitty's in, but like through the course of The Rookie? That may like hit the hardest for you.
Favorite episode? I gotta tell you, recently, have you seen all of them?
Mm-hmm.
So recently, Nathan saw Makia's husband, kissing another girl, So then and Nathan was the one that told, sorry, I'm using their real names rather than characters' names. But anyway, that scene at the very end between Makia and Nathan, it was really tough. I mean, it's very emotional. I mean, I got a little teary-eyed, but it was so real, and both those actors just nailed it. And that was like one of my all-time favorite scenes.
The storylines really are excellent because you put yourself in that position, and you're like, well, what would I do? Because he just got shot, but I just saw that, like, I mean, I don't even know what I would do, so it's like really crazy. Like the writers come up with this stuff. And
Oh,
it's
I
like,
know.
oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
I know.
how you make for a great show.
Every time I get a script, I just go to the end to make sure I didn't get a bullet. So I don't want to.
I better be alive.
I don't want to go to make it. Say, Brent, go get your bullet wound today. I got a bullet wound. Or is that fatal?
Just critical, or is it just
Yeah.
a couple days off?
Where did I get shot?
Oh my god! I mean, I would hope they would tell you in advance. Or
Yeah, I don't know. But I was talking to the second AD, and she said I don't even know if it was this show, because she'd been in business a long time. She goes, one time she had to tell one of the actors to go get the bullet wound. He goes, where am I shot? And she goes, well, the abdomen. He goes, that could be fatal. And she goes,
oh my god!
Yeah.
Well, let's hope not. We need
That's it,
Smitty.
yeah.
We need
We
Smitty
don't
every
want that,
season,
yeah.
okay? We need Smitty. Now I'm gonna grab something. Is everything good at the battery?
Yeah.
So I took the pleasure of printing out some stuff.
I appreciate you doing the homework.
Of course, I'm gonna put this up there so they can see. So I have the raccoon. That's just there because. But I'm gonna read this first one out, and I just want to get your reaction.
Okay.
So, Smitty is the anti-Seth. Seth tries hard but is incompetent and lies to save himself. He doesn't really care much about the people he works with. Smitty doesn't try, but when he has to go into action, he is competent and he owns up to his attitude and errors. And he cares about his teammates and looks out for them. Also good on Smitty, a grade A killer who injured multiple guards, got the jump on him, and he still managed to radio for backup and inform his location before he succumbed. So this is from a Reddit fan. So obviously everybody hates Seth now.
Okay. I would say whoever wrote that gets me.
You can't see him.
Yeah.
Somebody else tweeted, when we get more from Smitty's story in The Rookie, what then? That's my goat, my sugar baby, my angel dust. These fans really are, they're on Reddit, and there's a Smitty group where they just have positives about Smitty.
Oh, I know. There's a group of girls in Austria, Vienna, that all wear Smitty shirts.
Team Smitty!
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy. What was I forgot what I was supposed to answer to that one.
He said, she said, well, actually the tweet name is Mars Back Taylor. But when we get more from Smitty's story in The Rookie, what then? That's my goat, my sugar baby, my angel dust. And this was written March 21st, 2025.
My angel dust. Oh, yeah.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, the comments are always the funniest.
They're so
But
funny.
on everything, not just Reddit, but the comments are like, oh man, yeah.
Twitter and comments on Instagram. This one says, love how he sometimes randomly shows how he's not as clueless as he makes us believe. See season 2 with the problem say. But then the things happen like he gets his shop stolen. Poor Smitty. And then I don't know if you watched Days of Our Lives, but for Days of Our Lives fans, Smitty makes the Salem PD look like professionals.
Oh, really? These are lifespans are really bad.
Yeah.
Cops are bad, huh? Oh.
And then I just screenshot this lovely. Somebody compared you and Derek's little TikTok video to Fergie. Fergie dancing. So I'll put that up there. It's pretty.
Yeah, I
funny.
probably shouldn't have started twerking. That was bad.
Yeah, there's like 1,000 memes of that online. But they're really all funny, good memes. All
Oh,
wholesome good memes.
I've been, so most of them are kind. You know, there's some show that people have to read their really bad ones.
Yeah, no.
Ones like
No Smitty hate will be tolerated.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine reading bad tweets. There is a show that does that, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah.
We wouldn't do that here. I don't have the heart for it myself. Even reading my own comments when I first
Oh, they're brutal.
They're mean. At the company I used to work for, when I would like drop an interview from a junket, they would start going in on me, and I'm like, what does it matter what I wore that day? Like, leave me alone.
I just saw this thing yesterday, and they're ripping on Quentin Tarantino. He's the worst director ever. And I'm like, he's the best director ever. And they were like saying Tom Cruise can't. It's like, so I couldn't listen.
Yeah,
to
I just
that,
saw
yeah.
Tom Cruise comments for the new Mission Impossible trailer because he does a lot of his own stunts, and they were like, "He wouldn't do his own." Like, I'm like, okay, you try jumping off the plane.
I love it. Tom Cruise does his own stunts where he's hanging on that airplane, this, that, and the other. I had one episode, The Rookie, where Nathan and I are just running down the street, and I get a call from the stunt department. Dave Rowden, who's a good friend, great guy, and he goes, "Are you going to need a stunt man?" I go, "To run?" Well, so I go, "No, I'll be okay." He goes, "I'll have one just in case." I go, "Okay." So anyway, we're running, and so I did like 4 or 5 takes, and then here's this stunt guy over here. He's like 23 years old. He's my height. He looks like me, but he's 23. And so I felt bad that he's going to come out here and not work. I go, "Yeah, let him run a couple." And so I'm back with what I call Video Village with the directors and everybody behind the camera, and they go action, and the guy that did my stunt running, he looked like Usain Bolt. And they all look back at me. Smitty is so fast now. And this guy, he was in Cirque du Soleil, and he was a professional cliff diver for Red Bull. But that was who did
Oh my God,
and he did
wow.
the stunt when I got beat up too. So he's my guy.
So have you ever done a stunt yourself and like got injured?
Well, back in the day, in the 80s and stuff, like all these action, I did all my own stunts, and I got hurt quite a bit, but
So you want to jump out of a plane today?
probably not.
I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave that.
Would
to
you
my
jump out of a
kids.
plane? Would you
so-
parachute?
I would. I did it when I was a kid.
You did?
Yeah, and then with my dad, you know, they attach you to your parent.
But
And then
still.
Today, I mean, it's really weird because I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was the last Mission Impossible, they actually invited press to come and jump out of a helicopter. But the company I worked for at the time, we didn't work for ourselves, so I wasn't allowed to like just leave. So I missed it, but I would have done it.
Would you?
Yeah, I would do it. I'm
Would you do
crazy.
it?
Oh yeah.
You jump out of a plane?
Yeah. I want to
Wait,
skydive.
actually, I don't know because
Huh?
I want to skydive.
I don't believe you. I went.
Yeah.
I don't believe you because I did you know how you can walk across the skyscraper in New York? Where they attach you to the side of the skyscraper? It's called the Edge. So I did that.
Oh, yeah,
Last summer?
yeah.
And you didn't do it with me.
No, if I'm secure, if I have something that I know I'm gonna survive, I'll be up there.
I mean, I was
Well,
thinking.
if I knew I was going to survive, I'm in for sure.
Yeah.
But that's when Smitty would kick in. I go, did I forget to pack the parachute? I know that would happen. But if I knew I was going to survive, I'd do it in a second.
Gotta leave the packing to somebody else.
Yeah.
No, I like that stuff. I love like, diving with sharks, all that like crazy stuff.
Look at you.
I won't do I mean, I want to do what Tom Cruise does. Like, I won't hang off the plane like that, but
I do goat yoga, and that's about it.
goat yoga.
Yeah.
What about raccoon yoga?
Raccoon yoga, I can't stay away those little feisty guys.
Now, I want to kind of like step away from the rookie and talk about, like, I think you kind of told me, but what is your all-time favorite movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Okay, I love Pulp, another Quentin Tarantino classic. Now,
I've seen it so many times now, I might be switching over to Once Upon a Time in
Yeah, I
America,
love Once
but
Upon a Time.
I love anything David Fincher does, I love The Social Network, and it's like,
I always say, like, I wish I went to the premiere of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I feel like when that movie came out, it was probably like towards the end of how premiere, because I feel like premieres are so different today than they were like
Yeah.
back in the day. The director of the new Alien movie, he said when he was introing the movie at the Chinese theater, he was like, I was here a couple years ago for a premiere, and I'm here for my own movie, but let me tell you, premieres back then were way more fun. And I was like, wow, and I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was probably one of the last like really, really fun movies.
yeah, that would have been
I would have
good.
loved to have gone to that one, but
I would love to like go there and go to Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Sorry. No, now's a good time.
I love this guy.
Smitty! No, we need you back.
Sorry,
This is
I
so
swear it's
fun.
on silent.
No, it's because of the.
It's my ring
It's
camera.
the Google
Yeah,
Home.
somebody's robbing me, but I'd rather be here.
Smitty wouldn't go out and do it anyway. We have to
Yeah,
call him
yeah.
anything. I mean, not that John would
Yeah.
do a better job. Oh, I actually forgot to ask. So, if the tables were flipped
Mm-hmm.
and you had to have a TO and you were the rookie, who would you want as your TO and who would be your worst nightmare?
Lucy.
Oh, I love Lucy.
She's my favorite. Probably Bradford would be the word because he'd be pretty tough on me.
Bradford reminds me of
Lucy,
my
I could
history
probably,
teacher. I had a history teacher who's called Mr. Milner in England, and Bradford reminds me of him. But in person, I mean, in real life, he's obviously completely the opposite.
Oh, yeah,
Like, he
he's a
probably
nice
just
guy,
switches
yeah.
the flip, and it's like,
Yeah.
how can you do that? Okay, so we went through your favorite movie. Now let's talk about Shameless. What was that
Oh.
experience like?
Shameless was great. I go to audition for
Sorry.
Shameless over at Warner Brothers, and I had no idea that William H. Macy was directing the first episode. So so you're in this big room, audition room, and everybody wanted to be on Shameless. And so I had a couple of my buddies there, and I go, William H. Macy's in the room. And so I go, oh man. So anyway, you go in, what you're gonna do, and then William said, Bill, he said, can you, I'm that guy. He goes, can you do it with like a southern accent? Well, I'm from Missouri, so yeah, I can do the southern accent. So I did that. And I'm not doing it in the show, but ended up getting the part. So that was another great experience. I had no idea how popular. I hadn't seen show
Huge
production. Yeah. And oh God, what's his name? That played the young guy with me.
I was like 15, I don't even remember.
He started the show when he was like 9 years old. I forgot his anyway.
We're gonna put it up on YouTube.
He was awesome. He was just the greatest kid, and so I got to work with him. And I had a daughter in the show, and that was good. And so he quit going out with my daughter. So there goes my character. I wish they would have dated forever. So another show, I was on the West Wing for one episode. I loved the West Wing, and so I was the head of Secret Service in the White House. I don't know if this could be recurring, because I love that show, but one and done.
Okay, maybe we'll manifest it. But there's a show called The Residence on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it. It's kind of like a spoofy comedy. Somebody like dies in the White House, and there's this detective, and she kind of has to like solve it, and she's surrounded by all of these hilarious characters who play big, like, you know, politicians and famous people, and then Kylie Minogue is like singing it because they're at a big dinner.
Right.
So it's a really good show if you want to check it out. It kind of reminds me of that. So yeah, it was pretty fun. So my last question is, what do you want for Smitty in the future?
A girlfriend.
Or another wife.
Yeah, a wife. I had an idea, and I'm just saying this out loud. I thought I had an idea. I hadn't talked to Alexi about it or anything, but I thought it'd be cool if like somebody I know one comes up and they're having some event at the station, and everybody's got to bring a date. And Smitty, yeah, I got a date, so some actress, because there's so many actors in LA, so they're just assuming it's some, one about like me, one of the journeyman actors, and then I show up. And it's like Sandra Bullock or somebody like, and this is Sandy, and they're like, Smitty's with Sandra Bullock, or what,
God,
or supermodel, like with Giselle, or what,
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
That would be
I
fun.
thought that'd be kind of funny, but Smitty has no idea that, she's a big star. Oh, she is? She told me that,
She's in a movie.
She's in a movie. I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
Oh, that would be really fun. They should actually really explore that.
Yeah,
I think it would be, especially with Smitty being nonchalant about it and not knowing who the person
I had no
is.
idea. I've been married 3 times in the last 10 years.
I don't know who that is.
And I still don't know if I have any kids. So.
Probably does somewhere.
Oh, I think it had to.
Smitty.
It's so Smitty. What was I going to say? That just interrupted my train of thought. But it's
The kids.
the kids.
Hidden kids. Hidden pet raccoons.
Raccoons. I don't know. It went away. But yeah, I need a girlfriend, I think.
Okay, well, hopefully they hear us and watch this, and we.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I need to have either a son or a daughter who's just like Smitty.
Smitty Jr.
Smitty Jr.
And they want to be a
then-
TO.
And just,
They want to be a rookie.
oh, Smitty Jr. needs to come in as a rookie. Oh, and then
Can you
they match
imagine?
him up with Nolan. And then Gray goes, Nolan, you got Smitty's kid's gonna be, he's a rookie. And Nolan's just like, no, don't do it.
Oh,
Everybody,
give him a
all the
breakfast.
other kids, don't do that to me. Yeah.
That's funny. And then Bradford just gives the side eye, like, I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
dealing
like,
with it.
it's like,
So is there anything else you're working on that you would like to share? I
I
know you have your hands in everything, not just acting. So.
I direct, I write, and all that kind of stuff. I've got a short film coming out called Creating Giants, and it's an expose on Harvard. It's a documentary,
Ooh.
and I did a documentary about the modeling industry called Chasing Beauty, and the good and the bad with the modeling industry. And so anyway, they hired me to come do this story about a professor at Harvard Kennedy School, which is a school of politics, who was fired after 18 years. He was the professor of the year just 2 years previous, and all the students were in an uproar. They had demonstrations to save his job, and so I went back there and I'm sneaking in all these Harvard classes and interviewing professors and students, and it was really cool to see. And I got to go to Washington D.C. and interview congressmen like Senator Warren, and that was pretty cool. So that's gonna come out pretty soon.
Did anybody recognize you when you were like weaving in and out?
Yeah. No,
That's Smitty!
they go, wait a minute, yeah.
What's Smitty doing
Yeah.
here?
What the hell
There's
did
no raccoons.
Yeah. No, they didn't do that. I was just thinking, I'm looking around this, I'll be in a classroom at Harvard, and I go, interesting. I'm the dumbest guy in this room.
Stop.
Duh. Yeah.
As a kid, I always wanted to go to Harvard after I saw Legally Blonde,
Oh, yeah.
and then I was like,
Yeah. And after the
then after,
social network.
and then school was just cheaper in England, and then
Oh, you went to school in England?
I went to grad school out here, but I went to CSUN because it was also cheaper.
You're actually, you don't have that much.
Yeah, it
of an
went
accent.
away, but if you can ask Devonta here, if he met me like probably.
When you guys met, did she have a really thick
It
accent?
was full on,
Yeah, no
man.
idea what
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
saying.
I was like, wait, say it again. I
Yeah.
promise you I'll get it this time.
And I'm from Yorkshire, so it's like
Yorkshire,
It's
yeah.
very like it'll come out. I was on live YouTube yesterday, and somebody said when you're like passionate or angry about something, it comes out. Or if I'm at In and Out, and I'm like, can I get a burger with no?
Burger, yeah. I'm
And
gonna
like-
put it in the boot.
But it would get so annoying repeating myself. Like, can you get a what? I'm like, can I get a burger with a water, please?
Yeah.
Because water and like burger, they're like what?
I just did my ancestry.com because I had no idea where I'm from. You know, nobody could insult me because I have no idea where I'm from. And so I came up and I'm mostly Scottish.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, oh, I'm a Viking. And they go, no, you're like a Celt. And I go, no, Viking sounds better. I want to be like
You
that.
don't know where kilt.
Yeah. And so then I started watching the show Shetland. Have you seen Shetland? In Scotland, very North Island is Shetland, so these murders take place.
Oh, well, I'm gonna watch it because you don't like murder stuff.
Where are you from?
Out here, California.
Oh, you born and raised in
Yeah,
LA?
Born and raised.
You went to high school out here?
Nah, I went to high school in Santa Clarita.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One? That's where I live.
Golden Valley.
Oh, you went to Golden Valley?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All 4 years, man.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
You're an athlete?
I was on the football team for 3 years, but you know that school was not good. Their sports was
Oh, yeah.
it was all downhill when I was there. It was a new school when I went. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was like 4 years old when I went there.
Oh, yeah, that's fairly new. Now they got that. Castegg's a brand new school up there.
Oh yeah.
I think that's where my hairdresser's son goes. I drive all the way out there to get my hair done because I
Oh,
don't
do you really?
I don't trust anyone else. And she used to do like all of the Playboy bunny's hair. She used to do like Paula Abdul's hair. And then she was like, I don't want to do no more hair like that. I just have like set clients. But I'm naturally like, I have very dark hair, and I was just getting my hair fried because I was doing like collabs for my
Yeah.
hair. And I was like, you know what, I need to rebuild my hair. So I only go to her because she's the only one who actually cares about healthy hair.
Oh, good.
But I
Your hair
trust-
looks very, very healthy.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
here, but it's getting there. Thank you. I did read, now correct me if I'm wrong, did you work on something about or with Jake Paul?
Yeah, I directed a film with Jake.
How was that? I
That-
know everybody has these misconceptions
Okay.
about Jake Paul.
All right, so it's a kids movie. It's a talking dog movie, so it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
So Jake's got his reputation with all the girls and all that kind of stuff, the Maseratis and Ferraris, and then he's got the young kids who just look up to him. And so we started shooting. They wanted me to talk to him, and I sort of convinced him. I said, I know that you were on this show, Bizarre Vark, and all that. I didn't realize he was that big of a YouTube star. And then we were shooting near the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, and then the people were going crazy. I had no idea. He was the nicest guy. He has no problem, no attitude. He couldn't have been more professional. Not what you would think.
Okay.
And he had his group, and they said, well, if he does this movie, we want to be able to film behind the scenes. And so you're thinking, oh, we don't want those guys. It's going to be, they're all just sitting there like this. Couldn't have been nicer. Then one day, he tells me that he's thinking about being a boxer. You know, I go, no, I'm thinking, oh, this boxer. But you know how a lot of actors will go, I was going to be a professional basketball player, and then I twisted my ankle, so now you were going to be a professional basketball player.
Sorry.
So I'm thinking that with Jake, he goes, yeah, you're not going to be able to. Man, he's really good. And I think he made, granted Tyson was old. I'm so sorry.
No.
It's really
It's adding
sad.
to the smittiness.
So Smitty. So I would never fight Mike Tyson. I don't care if he's 100 years old, you know, and you saw him warming up, and I thought, he's going to get killed. Mike Tyson might kill him. But, he, you know, and people go, oh, he's old. Well, yeah, but I'm not going to fight Mike Tyson now. No way. But anyway, I think he made $40 million last year. So I love your shoes there, by the way. So I was looking at those. And so Jake Paul comes to the set, and he's got these really cool purple shoes, high tops. And I go, oh yeah, what's that? You know, who makes that? He goes, Prada. I go, oh. And then Prada, I said, how much would a pair of shoes like that cost? Like $1,600. I go, really? Yeah. Anyway, he would come to the set like in a Ferrari or, you know, whatever. And so he leaves those shoes behind after he wraps, but we're still shooting. And so the wardrobe calls him up and said, Jake, we have your Prada shoes here. He goes, just keep mine on. I'm like, are you kidding? I would drive to Bakersfield to get some slip-on, you know.
That's funny. I feel like when you get 40 million, it's probably like.
Well, he manages female boxers too, so he makes a lot of money that way.
Man, I need to push the YouTube more. You know, I regret, because I worked for another company for like 10 years. And
What company?
It was called Hollywood Unlocked. I was there from the inception, and then it got really big, and then I left because I was like, I want to have the freedom to do my own thing. I had enough of an audience to do it. Yeah. But I feel like that was the pivotal moment where everybody was getting on YouTube, and I was like, no, I gotta work myself up the ladder. I'm like,
Yeah, he
should have been.
I don't know how many followers. He had 20 million at the time. And then
and YouTube is a lot harder to crack than it is with like TikTok. I feel like it's probably the easiest growth. It was at least during 2020. But with YouTube, you really, once you get it, you really have like a strong audience, kind of like Reddit. Yeah. But back then too, when it wasn't as saturated, and I think it was just like the time. But it's really good to hear that he is like really nice and.
Couldn't have been nicer. It could not have been nicer. And then you see all this other stuff like, that's not the Jake that I know. But
that's good to know, because obviously when you see somebody grow up from YouTube and they're kids and they make mistakes and whatever, you have that perception. So that's really good to hear.
Some of the stuff I did.
So the cars I crashed.
Yeah.
Well, it was really great having you here.
Oh, son, thanks so much
We'd
for
love
having
to have
me.
you back. I feel like if I can get like, hat trick, we can do like a whole little round table, maybe.
Oh Patrick and I, and get Derek here too.
Yeah, so we do a whole little, we can have y'all trying British food and Persian food and make it all funny thing.
Yeah.
We would love to do that. But yeah, season 8, I'm ready. We better get Smitty in every single episode. A backstory, a wife, a girlfriend, a kid, and maybe a pet raccoon.
Come on.
I just have to be able to name it.
Yeah, what would you name it?
Well, I'll let you know what our pets are named. So, your dog is
you got
called Chorizo.
Chorizo?
Chorizo, like sausage. Look at
God,
Smitty.
Smitty's here.
Smitty is here. Smitty got a package.
I swear it's on ignore, but.
No, it's the same. The Google Home does the same thing. So the wiener dog is called Chorizo because he's a sausage. Chorizo means sausage. The 3 ducks outside are Roger, Glenfaba, and Glenn. Because I wanted to name them Glinda and Alphaba, but they're boys, so I had to switch it up. And then we have a cane corso. He's not here, but his name is Nemo. So if I was to name the raccoon, probably Gus. I used to have a hamster called Gus.
I have a cat named Steve.
Steve.
Did
you watch Minecraft?
No.
I am Steve.
Okay,
It's a
I'm
Steve head right there.
Yeah. Okay, you wanna hear a dad joke? Okay, you said you have a duck. You gotta see my imitation of a duck.
That's a total dad joke.
That's a total dad
That is a
joke.
total dad joke.
There you go.
Not a duck, a
Yeah,
duck.
I think I hurt myself. No.
No, but it's funny though, because even though you're ducking, ducks actually, they're, I don't know, they're weird. Their eyes are like, their eyes on the side, I think their eyes are on the side. But, I mean, I guess they're outside just being weird, but I don't know if they see in color, but they'll hear a plan and they'll just go, and I'm like, how is your neck doing?
Yes. Okay, another dad joke. So the duck walks into the pharmacy and he orders some chapstick. And then the pharmacist said, well, how are you going to pay it? He goes, just put it on my bill.
I get it. Okay.
That one's
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I messed that one up somehow.
I'm gonna have to get you to
Yeah,
write me
can
a
you
list
cut
of
that
dad jokes.
Cut out the bad.
No, but that's the point of a dad joke. They're supposed to be
They're
like,
supposed to be
they're
like,
so
oh.
bad that it's funny.
Yeah.
But they're that bad that it's funny.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna need a list of those dad jokes.
Yeah.
But it was great having you here. We would love to have you back.
Anytime.
Well, yeah. Thank you for bringing the Smitty.
I'll show up on time. I swear next time without my phone.
No, you're good. I'm surprised mine didn't go off. I did an interview recently. And,
I didn't realize that we're not rolling anymore, right?
Yeah, it's
So I didn't realize that